it used to be with respect to the difficulties of building along the railroad tracks. Also, to this day, on a per unit basis, one of the greatest sales in terms of numbers was in Delray Beach, Florida, 174 units built along the railroad tracks in Pineapple Grove. Still a successful project to this day, and as I said, sold at one of the highest multiples for units, for rental units in the last 10 years. So these situations have been confronted. They've been looked at. We actually have greater design parameters than some of the other successful projects before. So this is something that has been given thought to and is time tested. Larry, did you want to say something? Introduce yourself, unlike what I do.
Good evening. Larry Zavik, Zavik & Associates. We are the project manager for La Jolla Villages, and I want to add one point. The name La Jolla Villages was picked because we thought it was important to Lake Worth. It means the jewel, which was some of the original name of Lake Worth back in around 1900, so we picked that. In 2000, we managed construction of a 288-unit apartment complex in Mangonia Park, Hampton Court Apartments, which is adjacent to the same railroad tracks, and it's at the end. I'm sorry, it's on the tri-rail tracks, and it actually has the tri-rail station adjacent to it. At the time, we didn't have to put impact windows in; we put shutters. So this is actually an improvement, and there isn't a sound wall. There was a sound barrier of landscaping that was done, and that was sufficient. But as we've looked at the design of this project, we've looked at increasing all of the barriers to sound, both with impact windows, insulation, and with a sound wall as well.
One last thing, if you'll notice, we put the parking lot closest to the railroad tracks. We put the commercial activity closest to the railroad tracks. Quite honestly, if you didn't think you could have residential on this portion of the block, you'd be doing Lake Worth to a fate that says there's so many other places where you couldn't have residential redevelopment. And I don't think that's the case. I think we feel comfortable. We wouldn't be taking on the project. We have seen where there are other successful projects that have less remediation of the sound and have been successful.
Commissioner Harrison? I just wanted to comment, I too agree with you. There's residential there in essence already, just not on that property. Last Tuesday we didn't have a meeting, so I took it upon myself to drive south on Dixie Highway, and I went all the way down to Fort Lauderdale, and there's quite a few beautiful, beautiful properties on the railroad tracks. It looked like they were full to me. There were children playing, and it was a lot of activity. And like you had said, we've moved forward a lot since those developments have been built. My other question is, what are these going to actually rent for?
Cindy LaCourse Bloom, Community Land Trust, Palm County. I just want to clear up that audience comment as well. The units are targeted for families that are between 50 and 60% of the AMI. So that's affordable workforce housing. It's people making between $35,000 and $41,000 a year, and the rents are going to range from $700 to $941. And I think the concern that more people have is that there's people going to be living there that are not going to be taking care of the property, the owners nor the tenants, and there'll be crime. I think that's the concern that people have when new housing is coming in their neighborhood. We have strict background checks. We have a private investigator that does a very thorough background check on all the potential residents, and we also have credit criteria that people have to be able to rent there. We have very strict community guidelines that people have to agree to, as well as rental criteria. So we're also going to be owners in the long term, so we are invested in and want to make sure that the property is maintained by the owner and by the resident.
Well, and that's what I wanted to comment. That might be the criteria for low to moderate income housing, but that's a lot of money for a lot of people. A basic 2-bedroom house in the city of Lake Worth rents for $900 to $1,200, and usually when you have a 2-bedroom house, you have multiple people, because people aren't making the money they used to make, and in a perfect world, we'd love to have everyone owning their homes, but I can speak for a lot of people in this room. If you didn't inherit your property or take on a parent and the parent happened to pass away, or there's a lot of different issues that put you in the homes that you're in now. Not everyone bought a $400,000 or $500,000 house in this room. So it may be low to moderate income, but to me that's basic income for a lot of people at those rates today.
I
Just
think
a point of clarification on income, this is William Water, Director for Community Sustainability. That income range is 150 to 200% of the median income in Lake Worth right now.
Thank you.
repeat that.
150% to 200% of the median income in Lake Worth right now.
The AMI that I used was based on Palm Beach County, so it's correct.
Okay, excellent. And also, too, we're not approving a project here, we're approving these 3 items, so let's keep that in mind when we're voting. Commissioner Zerk?
Just for clarification, good evening. I think it's a good project. I wanted to know, you all are handling the undergrounding of the utilities now?
Yes.
That's included in the price?
Yes, sir. We're coordinating that with both Lake Worth Electric and Lake Worth Utilities and doing different parts of it together in conjunction with them.
Because I know that a major line that comes in and it jogs over when it goes north.
Everything's going underground.
Okay.
If you'll notice, you gave up a 10-foot alley, and you're getting a 15-foot easement. You realize what we're undertaking.
Right. And you said there was a manager going to be on site?
That is correct. There'll be a full-time on-site business manager and a property manager, maintenance person. And then we'll also be doing the property management from Davis Landings, which is right down the street on 493 Davis Road. That's where we have our other development that we just completed.
Okay, and is that like part of the approval here, that that's kind of management will be part of the project unless you sell the project, or?
It isn't a condition of approval, but I can tell you that you are dealing with the community land trust. So,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I figure my voice carries so much, I don't need this thing. But you are dealing with the community land trust. The people that will be involved in this are long-term holders. For tax reasons and other reasons, they have to be long-term holders, but also the community land trust is vested with a portfolio, a reason for existence. And therefore, they have to demonstrate each and every day in order to maintain themselves as their nonprofit and with their funding, that their projects meet a certain standard of quality. I don't think you can get any more assurances. A lot of people can come to the microphone and say, I'll promise this and promise that, but your assurances are in the people you're dealing with.
And just to kind of go over the structure, we're co-general partners, and Realtex is the financing arm of the partnership, but once there are guarantees for the project burn off, we'll be the long-term owners of the property. And our organization was created by Palm Beach County to create a permanent supply of affordable housing that's decent and safe.
Okay, and impact glass windows, you said, are part of the project. That's quite a high quality, very good thing to have. Even in storms, for a lot of housing stock in our city, a lot of them don't have that, and that can cause a big problem once we get a storm coming through. PBSO vetted this as far as in concept head? Okay.
The project did, in its initial stages, went through the site plan review committee meeting, which involves members from various city departments, as well as fire and sheriff's office.
Okay.
If I may,
Sure.
we also had a follow-up meeting with the sheriff's office, and they've already agreed to come to our monthly meeting so that they can address any concerns and help the residents develop a safety plan. Definitely, that's one of our main incentives, our pushes right now, is to make sure we design a safe plan, a safe development.
Because I think the spaces that you have between the units there is a good thing. I agree with the design on that as far as letting light and air through, but also can kind of get glimpses of people, or if anything's happening, you're not contained. And
We have a video surveillance system as well.
that was my.
Part of the plan.
Safety is our high priority.
And I think the living wall, is that just in the splash area, or does that go down the entire parking lot?
That's just in the splash area. It extends along the entire line.
Okay.
We do have a sound attenuation wall
Right.
along the length of the property.
Yeah, that's very good. And I see, I'm trying to locate, where are the stairwells? Where are the stairs located on there? Hard to tell.
It is hard to tell unless I don't have a laser, so.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you. There's a stairwell here. This is the central core area, and the plans changed a little bit from when this was done. There's a stair here that goes up to this building, which is separated from the others. And then there's a stair which now is right here in this area.
And those are really the three, as I mentioned, there are three entries into the breezeway, one here, and then there's one here as well. And there'll be another stairway in that location, so,
Okay. And so it's all walk-up, there's no elevator?
no, there's no elevator.
Okay, and I guess for ADA, you have the units on the ground floors?
All of the units on the
certificated.
ground floor will comply with fair housing, and then 3 of them will comply with the more strict 504 standards.
Okay, my last quick thing would be that I think on the apparent side, could you kind of go to some of the exterior, maybe the corner shop? Yeah.
I would think, yeah. I was just gonna see if there's anything missed.
I think that you've got a color change in here, which sets sort of the base level, and it almost got close to me looking like it could look almost like townhouses, but I didn't know if you have some vertical detailing on the corners. I don't know if it was possible to have a couple more where it might look like because there's townhouses in the area just east of here on Federal Highway and Sixth. But you can tell that they're townhouses because they have, they kind of look like they're more vertical stacking than this. And that kind of also, because there's a little bit there that would kind of give you a little more of that character that would look like that, which, the materials, it's all concrete block construction?
Yes.
Right, and is it wood trusses on the roofs?
Yes, it's wood trusses on the roof and concrete floors.
And the
Metal
roof? What's that? And the metal roof? Okay, all right, so you're correct, that it's all, good stucco finish on it, and